This is going to be a quick news video to give my thoughts on the latest announcements and releases that I haven't had a chance to make videos on. So in this video, we're going to talk about this, and this. Let's get started. Hi everyone and welcome to One Six Figure Focus, and in this video, of course, as I stated in the intro, we're going to be talking about Marrok, Gilgamesh, the PS2 2.0 Spider-Man, and of course this Ahsoka Tana has a lot of people hyped up. So this here, first we'll start off with this. This is the Hot Toys 1/6 scale Marrok, based on the likeness of this particular character as seen in the Disney Plus Ahsoka TV show. This is $265 and I believe it is due to ship or due to be released Q4 of 2024 or Q1 of 2025. So we're starting to see those release dates getting pushed out. So let's have a look at this. Initial thoughts, obviously, I didn't like the show. I didn't think it was particularly great. I think this character was basically a nothing character. There was a lot of hype up. I mean, look, there was people saying it was going to be Star Killer. There was people saying it could be like all sorts of people. Like at one stage, I thought actually the body proportions, not going to lie, I actually thought in one particular scene the body proportions looks a bit like Reva, but crazy. But yeah, look, it ended up being a green fart. That's what it ended up being. So my understanding of this character is it's an Inquisitor that was dead, but then the Night Sisters kind of magicked them up to back to life again and stuff like that. Right, okay, fair enough. I'm not into the kind of magic side of Star Wars. I know it's, I get it's science fiction, I get it set in space, and I guess, you know, it involves the Force and stuff like that, but I always thought it was more kind of like more towards the science fiction type of end as opposed to just the Harry Potter magic. But look, again, totally nitpicking then. A lot of all these shows are not for me, to be honest. Anyway, didn't particularly like the show. This character, on the other hand, the character design, Hot Toys have done a good job, right? So just want to really separate those two. No, I didn't like the show. I didn't think it was particularly good. I'm not going to get into the reasons why, because I've outlined them plenty of times before. But however, Hot Toys did a good job on this particular piece. It looks exactly like this character looked like in the show. The proportions look good. The weathering looks fantastic. It looks kind of like a, how would you describe this? Kind of like a futuristic sci-fi kind of knight, an actual knight as in like a knight around table, because it has, you know, armor and stuff like that. You can see all the weathering and even like the cape, which I'm wondering what that's going to be made of. It looks like leather. It's definitely not leather. I'd imagine some sort of a pleather or a pleather alternative or something like that. I like the way it's just kind of cut out, because I suppose, yeah, you know, this guy's been risen for the dead. He probably doesn't care about his fashion. But anyway, so let's flick through some of this. By the way, that lightsaber is not going to look like that, whether it's USB powered or not. From what I've seen from the actual Grand Inquisitor, the lightsabers that are now USB powered, while that is a step in the right direction, they are not like CCFLs. They do not look like lightsabers. They just look like bits of plastic with a little bit of light in them. So don't be fooled, folks. That's Photoshop trickery. It will not look like that. If you want to get something to look like that, it's the CCFLs you're after. However, they are very expensive. They get quite warm. I've heard, depending on who you buy them from, they can overheat. I've had no problems with mine, but like lots of different people are making these. And I suppose there's probably going to be a few crooks out there just chancing their arms and half-arse doing them. So be careful, do your own research, be careful who you buy from. I got my own ones for Art 15 custom. No, I get absolutely no kickback from that. The only people I get kickbacks from is Big Brother's Wonderland. If you don't get that reference, check out the Peacemaker video. Let's take a few, just take a look at a few of these different things. Now, look, it looks the business. It does, like I said, the kind of the paint apps, the proportions, even like the detailing on the kind of double-bladed saber looks quite good. The actual hilt in the middle. This thing spins, obviously. All the dirt, even on the side of the cape there, looks pretty good. Like all in all, $265. It's probably as cheap as you're going to get a Hot Toys one for these days. Your standard 6 scale figure. I believe the cheapest Hot Toy on Sideshow at the moment is the Stormtrooper Commander, $220 from Mandalorian Season 2 with the pauldron and the E22 blaster. Fantastic figure, $220. It's probably as cheap as you're going to get, you know, at retail. I know you can get cheaper on buy-sell trade groups or whatever. But this does look good. This is not me critiquing or criticizing Sideshow at all. It does look like they looked on the screen. Hot Toys have done a good job. But me, I just didn't care for the character. I didn't care for the show. I didn't care for the character. Don't particularly care for the character design. And he did nothing. Maybe they find out about him later on and he's the greatest thing since sliced bread and there's all this other backstory and lore. Fine, grand. But for this, no, not worth for me part of my money. But look, We're all different. It'd be boring if we all thought the exact same thing. So we're going to move on. Another figure that I've absolutely no interest, because let's be honest, folks, the movie was absolute dirt. Like, there's no ifs and buts about it. That's not negativity. That's not hate. That's just an opinion. This movie is not good. Okay? Again, just my opinion. Again, this should not actually cause offense to you because it's just an opinion. It shouldn't actually elicit any sort of emotion out of you whatsoever. However, again, Hot Toys have done a good job. I do think there has been a slight dip there from the prototype, because remember the prototype on this was just like practically shrink ray for this particular actor. Now this is this 265 as well? I want to check this out. This is 270. And this is obviously out now. Of course, it's on waitlist on Sideshow if you're playing the waitlist game. Now, this particular actor is quite famous. So skillfully crafted based on the screen appearance of Don Lee. So he's a popular character. So this is right here. You're looking at the prototype. So this is Sideshow. You're looking at the prototype. This is based on this Don Lee actor, who is he's been in a bunch of other films, and he's quite popular. So I think a lot of people are going to kit bash this if they're maybe into movies that he's been in, and you'll stick him in a suit or whatever. So this is the this is the final product. This is the prototype image. It's pretty damn close. Pretty damn close. It's very, very strong. I maybe think there's a slight degradation. Just looking at this suit, looks very, very shiny and golden here. Whereas here it definitely looks a bit more matte. But look, we'll flick through some of these images. So this is 275. Yeah, so look, for me, never, no matter how good if this thing came with a pulse, I still wouldn't be interested in it, because the movie just did absolutely nothing for me. And if you're watching this and you're a diehard Eternals fan and you love the movie, again, not causing any offense, don't mean to offend anyone at all, but I just didn't particularly like it. I do think these effects look quite good. I'm not one for these effects. I'm very, very picky when it comes to these things. I collect Hot Toys for, obviously, my love of collecting is rooted in my love of movies, particularly film and TV shows. But I do collect for that realism, and that I do like having like a 1/6 scale shrunken down version of that character on the shelf. So therefore, when you put in these electricity effects or magic effects, I just think it ruins the illusions. I particularly don't use them, but I do make exceptions for some of them. I think the flamethrower effects are quite good, the incinerator trooper flamethrower effect, or the ones that come Mandalorians. And I actually quite like the look of these whatever they call it. It's like his magic effects. When he uses his power, he basically punched things. That's what he did. He was very strong. He punched big things. That's what he did. And when he did that, he used this kind of like magic, and it has all these kind of like, I suppose, you have these like circle discs and stuff like that around his knuckles and different parts of his forearms to show that he was, you know, tapping into whatever power he had. That was kind of cool. I'm going to give him that. But I actually think these gauntlet style things to signify that he's using his magic, I actually think they're quite good. I don't know what this pose is. I must have forgotten that part of the movie. Yeah, there's definitely, if you look at Gilgamesh here, it's a lot shinier and a lot vibrant, whereas here it's definitely a lot more matte and dull. Kind of sucks for the people who are diehard Eternal fans, because let's say you're a diehard Eternal fans from the comic books and you know the lore and you know them inside out and you're really looking forward to the movie, and then you really liked the movie, but then you only have a chance to get Tina and Gilgamesh. Granted, they do have a relationship. He was kind of really protective of her, and they did have a story arc there, so it would make sense to pose them together. But you know, I presume people would have liked to complete the line. I don't think the masses would have bought them though. I think they would absolutely sit if they made the entire team. There's only be like, unless it was extremely small batch, but yeah, they look great together. Look, again, this is the furthest thing from a triple threat. I did not like the source material, I do not like the character, and I don't particularly care for the character design. But look, that's just my 2 cents, but it's for someone. Now this one here, okay, how do I preface this? Quite simply, I am not a gamer. I'm not a gamer because I've seen some of the phenomenal graphics and gameplay and storylines for the likes of The Last of Us, Red Dead Redemption, the Spider-Man game, the second Spider-Man game, the Miles Morales, bunch of different things. I've like down through the years, like, you know, I've admired a lot of these games from the far. Have I played computer games before? Of course I have, but I'm not a gamer. I have yet to see a Spider-Man from either the Spider-Man game, the Miles Morales games, or now the the Spider-Man 2 for PS5. I've yet to see one of these Spider-Mans that I didn't like the look of. I'm so thankful that I don't actually collect like that, because I'd be broke. These things look phenomenal. This one particularly, I always like the advanced suit. I think it's a stunning looking piece. Anyway, I just wanted, so this is actually out now because they kind of like part of the promotion for the Spider-Man 2 game for PS5. They did Miles Morales 2.0 and they did this, and now of course they have that huge Venom as well that's the size of a small child. So this here is out now, and I just want to take a quick look at the price on that. It's $305. So this is the advanced suit. The advanced suit 2.0. Right, so it is, I think they were actually limited as well. So you have these, I suppose, Iron Spider type legs, silver ones. I think the silver looks really good. What I like about this suit is it kind of has part of the traditional look. You've got the red, the blue, the webbing, you know, your lenses and all that. But then you've got these extra bits, like the white spider is so, it's completely different to like the regular small black spider he'd have. And you got the white gauntlets as well. I think it's a really, really nice touch. I always like the look of that. And in my early days of collecting, well, hey look, when I got my first two Hot Toys back in like 2010 or something like that, then I took a massive break. But when I re-engaged in 2017 and 2018, I think I saw this suit at one point and I was really tempted, but I just held off because it wasn't from a movie. And even at that stage, I was very adamant that I kind of, you know, my collecting was rooted in my love of film and TV shows, specifically film though. So I really wanted to know, like, more often than not, I want to love the source material. So love the film or TV show that it comes from, love the character and love that particular version. So I kind of opted not to get the advanced suit because it's from a game that I hadn't played. You don't have to have seen the movie or liked the movie or played the game to get a figure. You can just collect whatever you want. But I do, because it's my collection, and it's how at the end of the day I've got to go to work and I've got to, you know, budget, and I've got to, you know, put money aside and you know, work on my savings and stuff like that, and I've got to work to get money and I've got to pay for these. So therefore I decide what goes in and out of the collection, nobody else. And that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be for everyone, because every collector has a different method of doing things. So that being said, this looks bloody amazing though. That's a fantastic pose as well. Just like I just love how much this pops. The red pops, the blue pops, even the kind of strange kind of like, these almost like retro kind of like kind of sport or pea shoes that he's wearing. I actually think that's quite cool as well. I love the silver color, even the bits of blue inside. And if you see these arms, the bits of blue in there, looks pretty cool. You got some webs there as well. I think it's funny here. Did it have on the bottom of this, the Marvel stamped on that? Come on, Photoshop that out. You've done a great job with these photos. Get rid of that. If you're going to do that, take you 2 seconds. Yeah, this looks amazing. And you got that bit of symbiote there as well. I believe that comes with it. That's cool. I just like those. See, things like with Spider-Man, Deadpool, you can really bring humor into your displays if you want to. I think that's class. I think Posing with Peter did something like that. I believe it was with the Spider-Man from Homecoming, and he did him like skipping with some sort of he made some sort of a web and just made it look like it was skipping. I thought it was cool, but he's the kind of pose master. So this is the Miles 2.0 that they also released. Yeah, this looks stunning. Am I going to get it? Of course I'm not going to get it. It's from a computer game that I haven't played, and chances are I probably never will. I know I'd like it if I did. I think that's the danger. If I like it, I'd get a PS5 and then I'd spend way too much time playing it. I believe you get this little spider, this little drone as well with it as well. Yeah, so look, this looks deadly. Now, finally, the last one we're going to take a look at, of course. The last one that has everyone hyped. Well, from what I've seen, I haven't really watched too many live streams about it, but look, really quickly, just want to make sure that I've got the price. So I think this is $300 on the button. Yeah, Ahsoka the White, $300. Right, let's take a look at this. And this is due to release, I think it's Q1 of 2025 as well. Okay. Again, if I bring it back, if you've been following the channel, you know about my triple threat rule. 99% of the stuff in this room, my collection, follows the triple threat rule. There are exceptions. For example, I've got a Commander Cody there, and I don't collect prequels, but I collect troopers, and I think it's an awesome trooper, and it was given to me as a gift. Or I've got the Batman vs Superman battle damaged armored Batman. Didn't particularly like that movie. Didn't really like it at all. There was aspects I liked, but I loved the Dark Knight Returns comic book that it's loosely based on. And it's a fantastic looking piece. So that paired next to that in-art BVS Superman will look stunning, hopefully. But usually, I have to love the character, love the source material, and love that version of the character. Did I love the source material Ahsoka? No. Didn't think it was a good show. There was aspects I like, but overall, I don't think it's a good show. Do I love the character? I actually really do love the character. In fact, Mandalorian, Season 2, Rosario Dawson, Ahsoka, first live action appearance, was some of the best piece of Star Wars media I've ever seen. Absolutely love it. It would be in my top 5, maybe even top 3. Absolutely loved it. Her portrayal, her look, the fight scenes between her and Mando, the fight scenes between her and oh god, the Night Sister. I've completely forgotten her name. It'll come back, but you know what I'm talking about. The fact that Michael Biehn was in the episode, the choreography, the kind of mist at the start to kind of green you, and the way like out of nowhere you'd see these lightsabers appear, and then she just sliced these droids in half, whatever. It was done so well. It was executed so well. Just the cinematography, the atmosphere that they created, with all the smog and everything and the actions. He absolutely loved it. It made me go and watch the 7 seasons of Clone Wars, which I wouldn't do again. And I don't think it was worth my time investment. But I would absolutely go back and watch the key episodes, because the last 4 episodes, season 7, again, some of the best pieces of Star Wars media I've ever seen. So I would say I do love the character Ahsoka. Not as much as some though, because this, just going back on this, sorry, the third part of that is, do I love this version? That's the point. So, do I love the source material, Ahsoka, the TV show? No, straight out, no. Do I love the character? I do love the character. I think it's a great character. Do I love this version of it? I actually prefer, let's be very, very careful. I prefer the look of this. However, this here is a better head sculpt. This here is a better head sculpt. There is no denying what I have behind me from The Mandalorian, the first live action one from The Mandalorian season 2. That's the Ahsoka that I think of. That's the Ahsoka that I fell in love with. However, this on the screen here is a superior head sculpt. There's no doubt, because that behind there looks great as Ahsoka, doesn't necessarily look like Rosario Dawson. So this here, I definitely think it's a step in the right direction. It's definitely a better head sculpt. It looks more like Rosario Dawson. But I don't think that this thing on the screen either is like a bang up 10 out of 10 either. I think it's probably like a 9, maybe an 8, 8.5. I have to take another look at it. I want to look at it from a few more angles, because I haven't actually had a proper look. I just looked at Instagram on my phone. But this here, it does look a stunning head sculpt. It is definitely better than what I have behind me. And the question is, do I want to go and pick this up, considering I don't actually like the TV show? You probably already know the answer to that. But look, let's go through it. I do think this is the best angle as well in terms of the likeness of Rosario Dawson. So let's flick through some of this. It's $300. They're trying to obviously recreate that kind of promotional image they have. I see from here, I think that looks more like Rosario Dawson, and then here I think it loses a little bit. So at the moment, like by the end of this, I'll give you my official grading, but it's not a 10. It's not a 7. It's either an 8 or a 9 or somewhere in between. That's what I'm seeing here. Right, yeah, it looks pretty, they look great together. Like, in fairness, every single figure that they have released from Ahsoka so far, Thrawn, Sabine, Hera, Chopper, like Marrok, they all look stunning. It's going to be an extremely expensive, but very impressive line. And there's a lot of pop and colors as well, and that kind of bright colors as well. So here, when you look at the whole Ahsoka the White thing, I do think that was a bit gimmicky. I prefer the kind of darker robes she has behind, with the kind of, so you have, like, if you look behind here, you've got the darker top, she's got the darker gauntlets, it's kind of like a kind of a bluey, kind of a green, and then she's got the kind of dark pants and everything like that. I actually prefer that, and I prefer the darker robe because it reminds me of those final episodes in Clone Wars, specifically that very, very last episode of Clone Wars when she's burying the clones. But this here, I did think that was a bit gimmicky. Now, the Lekus are a lot longer here because they were flopping around for the whole TV show, let's be honest, and they're short here. That doesn't bother me about this one, because this one, they were short in Mandalorian, therefore they should be a bit shorter there. It's only marginally shorter, I think. Now I'm comparing the two of them, marginally shorter. So this one here, it still looks good. I don't remember her making this face. Now, in fairness, when you make different faces, sometimes you don't even look like yourself. Okay, your face is always moving, you have different expressions. So this here, I'd imagine if you ever watch a video yourself, if you ever see yourself a video and you pause it at certain points when you're talking, you look absolutely ridiculous, but you don't notice when people are talking because they're moving so fast. So here, I don't think that sculpt's good. I don't think I think it's a bit strange looking. We'll take another look at it later on. Sabine looks fantastic. I'm more actually looking at Sabine in the background, to be honest. Yeah. So it says here, all new joint designs allowing wider range of articulations with an S. I wonder if they do say anything about the arms. All right, so this one I'm going to take a look. So $300. Let's just take a look at everything. Interchangeable face sculpts with separate rolling eyeballs function. So I believe it comes with two sculpts. The top one, the more neutral one, which I do believe looks a lot more like Rosario Dawson. So here you have the one from the Mandalorian, which is probably, in fairness, that one's probably a 6, maybe a 7 at best. This one here, it's a minimum 8, I think a maximum 9, somewhere in between an 8 or a 9. The neutral sculpt looks fantastic. The rolling eyeballs function looks great as well. The aggressive sculpt, look, again, it would look like Ahsoka, but it wasn't necessarily look like Rosario Dawson. That looks a bit crazy looking. No, I don't think that looks great, to be honest. I don't think that looks good. LED lightsaber powered by USB. Now it says lightsaber single. Maybe the S for articulations was supposed to be on the end of that lightsabers there. That's probably what happened, yeah. They added in the S for articulations, but it probably should have been at the end of lightsaber. So I'd imagine the two of them are USB powered. And they are. Because you can see in the center here, you've got the two hilts. And then you've also got two hilts with cables on them. So they are USB powered, both of them. So you've got the two hilts you can hang off the belt. And you've got the two hilts which can be USB powered. Of course, it's not going to look like what you have there. Like if you look at that. What you're looking behind, I know when you're looking at that, you can see Ahsoka in the background with the two blades. It looks like she's holding two lightsabers. Yeah, I know people would say, but yeah, but the very, very end of the tip. Yeah, but you could say, right, the opposite then for the lightsabers that you have with the Hot Toys, it's just literally the end that's lit and then the rest of it's just plastic, whereas that looks like a lightsaber. And again, maybe I'm coming back to you in 6 months' time or years' time going, yeah, my lightsaber, my CCFL's melted, but anyway, time will tell. So what else do you have? The base, a bunch of swap out hands, and then you've got these, they look like hockey pads, to be honest. They look like hockey pads there, the shin guards she has. So look, essentially they've taken what's behind there and they've just changed color and changed some of the textures as well. Like I'm looking at the shin guards here are nicer on this. I don't like the way there's different sections on this particular costume. So we're going to flick, on the shin guards of the costume. So we're going to flick down through this. All right. No, don't think that sculpt's good. I think it's good that they've given us something different. I'd rather have it and not use it than want it and not have it. So, like, yeah, I think if you know what, if I did have this, I probably would use it from time to time. I just think the other one looks more like Rosario Dawson. That looks great. There's no ifs and buts about it. This is a very strong figure. The head sculpt, the neutral sculpt is very strong. They have included the rolling eyeballs function. They have included the swap out aggressive sculpt. Okay, maybe it looks a bit strange, but still they have included. I think that's good. The outfit looks good. Again, this is another case that Hot Toys have done their job right, with the exception of maybe that screaming sculpt or the aggressive sculpt. They've done their job right. Okay, it's just a case, do you like the show? Do you like this particular version of the character, this particular design choice? I don't particularly like this design choice. I prefer the darker version. However, I recognize that the sculpt I have doesn't look as like Rosario Dawson as this neutral sculpt here would. That looks great. Right, so yeah, first sculpt, I can see Rosario Dawson there, which is, there's only two sculpts here. I know there's 4 pictures, but the first two just shows the rolling eyeballs function changing, and it shows the eyes are changing direction and they've looked at different angles. So yeah, the first and second one here, definitely Rosario Dawson there. The likeness seems pretty strong. And then the last two, not so much. It looks a bit strange. They've done the Chrome Mando here again. So it says, newly developed Leku with increased length. The thing is, if I remember correctly, her Lekus were shorter on screen in The Mandalorian than they were on Ahsoka. So the one on the left here is still accurate to The Mandalorian, just maybe not accurate to the character. They changed it. Got a different kind of tiara style thing. I thought she was weird looking when she took off her tiara, to be honest. So they've done this before when they showed the Chrome Mando, and then they showed the regular deluxe Beskar Mando next to it showing this is the old stuff, this is the new stuff. So yeah, the DX20 or 21 would look like on the left, and on the right you have the TMS 118. The likeness, it doesn't look great here on the right. I know I'm not the only one seeing that. It looks like a completely different sculpt. It's not, it's just the way the angle is taken. There's another image of it here. I'll show you the one now. So there's an image showing the neutral sculpt, and it, like, that looks like Rosario. This here, maybe it's just the angle, the way they have the eyes and stuff. It's funny how this one looks so like her, and then this, just with the change in the eyes and changing the angle, it looks less like something around the chin. Yeah, look, they're my thoughts on it. Yeah, no. Ugh. I would rather invest. People are going to be asking themselves, you have the Mandalorian one, are you going to pick up this? And people are going to say, what about picking up this and popping the head sculpt on that one behind? That's grand. That's a lot of money to spend if you're just going to use the head sculpt, okay? Or people will say something like, you know, you could pop that on, and then I wonder, you could take that on, and yeah, I suppose you couldn't really do that then, because I was going to say pop that one on this and pop the other. This doesn't come with two sculpts, it's just the faceplates that are changed with. But you could maybe do a Monkey Depot or something like that and just get the head sculpt. Now, my thought on just, let's say if I bought this just for the head sculpt, or if I went to Monkey Depot or went to eBay and just got the head sculpt and I popped it on that, even though it's the same character, a lot of the time when I see people do that, the head looks too big or too small because they're not the exact same. The production wasn't the exact same. Even if we go back here, the photos might be different as well. So I'm just trying to imagine this head sculpt on the right popped on that. Just from this, it would look a little bit too big in my opinion. But again, that could be the way the lighting, and it could be the one was further back, or whichever way they were taking the photo, the photographer could be slightly closer, making it look bigger, slightly further away, making it look smaller and whatever. So in conclusion, I'm not going to get this. I would rather invest my money into a custom head sculpt that looks more like Rosario Dawson from Mandalorian. It's a season 2 episode. I'd rather do that. I saw Jackson Chu put up his version, and I think that would look stunning. And I'd rather spend money on that, but I don't think he's actually selling them like he is with the Batman Begins. Yeah, so look, just round up on that. Marrok looks good, not for me. Gilgamesh, definitely not for me. This Ahsoka, I'm happy with what I have, but I'd be open to getting a head sculpt that looks a bit more like Rosario Dawson for it. I'm not going to buy this just for the head sculpt. And yeah, the PS2 Spidey. So look, wallet is safe. Again, fake collectors for life. That's the end of the video. If you want to support the channel, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Let me know if you're picking up any of these or not. You can also follow me on Instagram and on X. That's it. That's the end of the video. See you in the next one. Good luck.